So if we look at the Bitcoin dominance right now, today it's 7 days ago it was, and a month ago it was. We won't get a big altcoin season until Bitcoin dominance comes down. And
I think the best thing to do, in my opinion, just being spot, because leverage is just, if you're arranging, you're just going to get wrecked.
Technically, the market is poised to not flatline and not die over the next couple months. But from personal memory, bro, I just remember January, like from mid-January downwards, we just see Bitcoin slowly starting to grind downwards.
The content presented in this podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only. It should not be considered as financial advice, and listeners are encouraged to conduct their own research or consult with a qualified professional before making any investment decisions.
Crypto flip. In this week's episode, we'll be discussing what's next for Bitcoin as it currently sits at $92,000. We'll also be discussing the FOMC rate cut and what effect that might have on the market. And Coinbase have quite a few updates that are definitely worth talking about. It seems like they may be coming after one of the big fish's lunch. So we'll get into that. But before we do, you know what we have to do? We have to ease into it by talking to the DJs of the space, by getting into some crypto confessions. So let's get into it. I lost my entire life savings, mum's family savings, 1.5 years of salary, borrowed money from friends, banks, private lenders because of overtrading, and everyone is chasing me now daily for money. I've learned from my mistakes, and I still believe I can make it big trading crypto and become first multi-millionaire in my family. What do you make of that?
What makes you think that going forward, anything is going to be different from how it was in the past? You lost your life savings. You lost your mom's savings. You borrow money from your friends, banks, probably loan sharks. A man's probably trying to cut your figures off right now for their money. And in your mind, you're like, I could still make it big. Yeah, man. You're a gambler, bro. You're a gambler. If it wasn't crypto, it'd be sniffing cocaine. I don't know, man. But I'm sorry to hear that all of this happened to you, but you brought it on yourself. So at the end of the day, you just need to do better. Like, I've got no sympathy for this guy.
Bro, my man said I lost an entire savings and he borrowed from loan shark, private lenders, all because of overtrading. All I want to say is two things. One, I admire your confidence. I actually do. I think sometimes all you need in life is to actually just have supreme confidence and things will just work out. So I give you that one. But I'm not going to lie to you, broski. I'm not confident. I'm not confident that you are, but I'm not confident that you can become the first multi-millionaire because so far you're making hella risky moves. Like, why are you over-leveraging, over-trading, borrowing money so you're in more debt and then interest rate? And then what it does ultimately is it affects your ability to borrow long term.
You know what? I like this guy. I'll tell you why. Because you're only delusional until it works. And you only have to be right once. This guy is obviously burned through his own savings, the bank, friends, family, and he's still not made it. But if he gets it right, it could change his life. But his real problem is that even if he makes it, I don't really have the confidence in him to say that he'll keep it. That's a different skill entirely. But I think what he needs to do is go back to the drawing board. If he has like some income coming in or just a little bit of money here or there, figure out a strategy because it seems like you're just throwing like darts at the wall and it's not sticking. So you need to figure out a strategy, use low amounts, $10, $20 in that type of range. Till you find something working, then you're like, okay, now I can increase the budget. But I wouldn't recommend loaning any more money. You probably should find a job or some other way to get money into crypto. That would be my take. We'll go on to the next one. Since early 2017, hit some highs and some lows along the way, but never quit and ran my portfolio to $1.2 million. By December 2024. As of current, my portfolio is worth almost nothing. and I owe the IRS 25K. Altcoin season became extraction season, masked by BTC price action. I'm now in my early 30s with all my assets completely wiped out. GG crypto. It was fun while it lasted. Now, what do you man make of that?
Wait. I got one question before you go, Ray. What's GG? What's GG crypto? What's that?
Good going, crypto. About 1.2 mil to now, we're in December 2025, to owing 25K. Almost nothing in his book. Bro, what was he
Negative, bro.
Bro, like, what was he doing? Like, bro, 1.2, bro, nothing is down that much. Like, for you to lose 99%. Unless he was in, like, some crazy meme coins. I don't know, bro. But that is sinister, fam. Depression must be slapping this guy in his face, bro. Because that is, like, he had enough here to say, I'm gonna stop, slow down, or change path for a while. And now, he's just got debts, bro. Yo, this guy needs help, bro. Not from us, but he needs help.
I was going to say, is that an offer?
Nah.
Yo, I'm gonna say this, yeah. Like, in 1 year, you went from generation. Like, say what you will. Obviously, you look at these celebrities online. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know you heard a story. This ex-NFL player, still kind of active, but basically he said $100 million not enough as a generation, as a generational wealth. And then obviously I disagree. 100 mil is plenty enough. So in perspective, 1.2 billion, it's not generation changing money, but it is an excellent start to being the generation changing wealth. For you to blow that in 1 year, it just shows how retarded you are, bro. Like, it's just, what are you doing? It's gotta be over leveraging, or you over, like, even if you bag hold, or maybe you bag hold some toxic assets like some meme coin that's over mature, should I say? Cool, I can see that. Cool. If it was in a situation like that, then yeah. But if you were actually trading, man, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you to blow through $1.2 million in 1 year, and also being dead. Now you're negative minus 25. You lost more than 1.2 mil. Let's be real. But yeah, and then, like, what do you have to show for you? Like, at least, please tell me you bought some watches. Please tell me you bought some flyways, or tell me you bought a yard at least. Because I refuse to believe you did this, bro. I refuse to. This confessions, I think some of these guys gotta be trolling us, fam, because it's just hard to fuck up that much, fam.
That's a generational L. $1.2 million is a lot of money. Now, you're not going to be able to retire from it, not even close, especially with inflation these days, but you can do a lot, and it's a great platform, as Deji was saying. So to go from 1.2 to owing 25K it's bad, man. It's bad. The question is, how are you going to bounce back now? I don't know. I mean, first and foremost, you have to get rid of that debt from the government, because you don't want to be behind bars. Secondly, can you bounce back? I think you have to change your mindset, because now you're viewing altcoins as extractionary, and yes, they are, but you just have to understand where we are in the cycle. Like, you're still thinking, oh, I'll just leave a bunch of money in altcoins and just wait for altcoin season, and then I get 10x or 100x, whatever. That's obviously not the game anymore. And I think you probably figured that out too late, and you'll probably spread yourself into vaporware or products that weren't going anywhere. And yeah, you just got left holding the bag, unfortunately. But with that being said, welcome back to the Crypto Flip podcast. I am your host, Harris King, and I'm joined once again with my co-hosts, Ricardo and Dedi. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also hype if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening on any audio platform, that's Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere, or Apple Podcasts, I should say, or anywhere that you like to listen to your podcasts, leave us a review, because it really does help, and it helps us to create new episodes. So if it's your first time listening, we are ordinary, everyday investors who manage our own portfolios, and we like to discuss things that actually affect people who are down deep in the trenches and look for new opportunities and discuss what we think that's going to happen to the market. So with that being said, let's get into the main story of the day, or the first story of the day. So currently, Bitcoin is sitting at 92K and has been ranging sort of between high 80s and low 90s. But the question that everybody wants to know is this: what is going to happen to Bitcoin and subsequently crypto next?
Personally, right now, based on where we are, I reckon we're just gonna range, man. I reckon we're just gonna range for the rest of December. I see Ethereum has woken up a little and has now been like strongly over that 3,000 mark, which is good news. I see Ripple breaking $2. There's quite a lot of tokens that are still like in recess, but Ripple, Hype, and obviously Bitcoin and ETH are kind of holding up the market in a decent place right now. Like, bro, like the market is in a decent place, and obviously with like recent news that have come out with the rate cuts, I just feel like technically the market is poised to not flatline and not die over the next couple months. But from personal memory, bro, I just remember January. Like from mid-January downwards, we just see Bitcoin slowly starting to grind downwards. I hope that's not the case, but right now, yeah, it's looking a lot more positive than it did last week. Maybe we might get that Santa rally that Deji was talking about, because right now the market's looking it's looking all right.
I mean, like it's just every time he loses that 92K support again, it just keeps coming back, and like I feel like we will have a test. I don't know if you can call that Santa rally, but I think we'll definitely test the 100K region, and we might see some altcoins actually outperform. But obviously, we'll talk about this later on. But there was a rate cut yesterday, and I didn't know that I was expected to do anything, but nothing happened as expected. And I just feel like investors are now basically putting all their chips for next year, and that kind of supports Ricardo's thesis about how he thinks we're just going to range. And I can see a situation where like BTC consolidated around 92K range, 95K range should be good for altcoins. And we can call that a version of altcoin season. But I think the best thing to do, in my opinion, just be in spot, because like leverage is just, I mean, if you're ranging, you're just going to get wrecked. Just going to get wrecked. So I think the best way to play this is just to be in spot. Whether
You know what, yeah?
BTC
On that point, I saw something on X where it said people that were long got liquidated. And then there was a bunch of people short, and then they also got liquidated. I think it was within like an hour or something like that. It was hilarious.
Yeah,
they would say with the leverage.
That's just the exchange washing. That's just the exchange just washing the market, and you don't want to get caught in that wash. The best way to protect yourself is just to be in spot. You know what I mean? So I think right now, because no one's sure which direction we'll go in, I think this higher probability is a higher probability than not. We test 100K range. Doesn't necessarily mean it's time to use leverage. Even if you're using it at low percentage, because you can still get liquidated. So yeah, I would just stay in spot and just keep buying up spot. I think that's kind of the best move.
Yeah, I mean, I only use spot anyway. I'm a big proponent of that. But when it comes to what to look for next, I think it's important to look at dominance. So if we look at the Bitcoin dominance right now, today it's 55.95. 7 days ago, it was 58.87. And a month ago, it was 59.46. So you can see that Bitcoin dominance is gradually reducing. ETH dominance is remaining relatively steady. Today it's 11.67. 7 days ago it was 12.23, and a month ago it was 12.16. And if we look at stables, today it's 8.81%. 7 days ago it was 9%, and a month ago it was 7.9%. So where is that money going? Well, if you look at others, it's currently 23.57%. 7 days ago, it was 19.81%. And a month ago, it was 20.4%. 6%. So yeah, people are either putting their money in stables, or it looks like they may start to be looking at altcoins, potentially meme coins, other things like that. But we won't get a big altcoin season until Bitcoin dominance comes down, and we typically, that typically won't come down until Bitcoin goes exponentially high. So that's obviously what's happened historically. This market has been very different in a number of ways, so we still have to see whether that thesis plays out in the same sort of way. But it's not something I would totally discount. But for now, I think keeping stables and watching for either new narratives or just the market to show a different trend, a trend reversal. That's something to keep in mind. And something else to keep in mind is the FOMC rate cut, which was 25 basis points. So that's 0.25%, which means that they're reducing it by 0.25%, which is obviously good news. Quantitative tightening has been eased off. It seems like the Fed are easing off the gas. So we briefly mentioned it before, but what long-term effects do you think is going to have for investors and for traders alike?
Generally, this is normally bullish news, right? For stocks and for crypto. If we have rate cuts, we're seeing lower rates. That means there's more liquidity. Investors start moving cash out of really safe things into riskier assets. Hopefully we see, the big boys, Bitcoin, ETH, and some altcoins finally start to jump a little, because it starts to look a bit more appeasing to people because they have some more speculative cash. That'd be great. Typically, the rate cut reduces the strength of the dollar, and obviously, if the dollar's bearish, Bitcoin is going to go up, because a BTC USD pair, obviously, if the value of the dollar goes down, the value of Bitcoin goes up. So, these are all really good things, and it's all good things that can happen, and is pushing crypto in a positive direction. And yeah, obviously, we haven't seen like a massive pump. Like, we didn't see Bitcoin go over 120 as soon as that was announced. But these things, bro, it's like a lot of small actions that just compound over time. So this is like good news for the medium, the short to medium term. So yeah, we'll just start seeing some more liquidity in the market. We might see some more people feeling like, they're leverage warriors again and getting wiped out on either side, like you just mentioned. But yeah, it's pretty bullish news.
Long term, I think it's positive long term, but we've never had a situation where we rally after a rate cut. I feel like after each rate cut, we look forward to is there going to be another rate cut, because that gets traders and investors excited. But I've been looking ahead now, the probability of getting a rate cut in January is actually less than 24%, which is not good. But it just means it shows basically maybe even though we are entering a qualitative easing, the Fed are not eager to kind of keep cutting rate, because they're obviously worried about unemployment rate going back up, and if they stimulate the economy too fast, they might have to call back some of the things they've been doing, which I think has been positive. Obviously, I think I see there's more liquidity in the economy, and things are getting much better. But I think what that means for crypto, it sets crypto up for. That's why I feel like this kind of supports my thesis of maybe you get a low Santa rally, a huge correction, then we take that liquidity from sub 85K up to just one last blow off top. That's kind of like where, we had that strong Bitcoin rally, then all currency will follow, and then we take it from there. So that's what I'm hoping long term this provides. And if it doesn't, well, it's just been, I don't see us ending this 4-year cycle without having one last blow off top. At least one last attack, one last stab at that 125K range, 130K range. One last stab. And whether we succeed or not, we'll be like 100K when we had people doing Bitcoin party watch, it was so monumental that 100K range was the psychological barrier. But once we finally broke it, it's not like we're sub Well, literally 8K under 100K, that was should be a huge milestone previously. And people were crying like, oh man, America is dead. So it's like, I could be wrong, but I see your attempts that last attempt was that 125K range, 130K range. And we should break it. We should.
Yeah, I think long term it's definitely good, but as Rick was saying, it's not something that we're going to see the positive effects for immediately. So it's not something that you should necessarily plan your thesis around or plan your actions around, but it's just another bullish catalyst moving forward long term. And I think, yeah, in terms of where we can realistically go based on, this new information, I think it's still around 130, 140-ish on the positive side. So yeah, I think there's still a lot of room left to grow, assuming that we don't obviously cascade down and no fresh capital comes in, which I don't think is going to happen. But I think that having that rate cut is bullish for not just cryptos, bullish for tech companies and a lot of different industries. And someone else who is bullish on the future is Coinbase, who is attempting to kill Polymarket and Kelsey. How? Well, they're entering the prediction market and also tokenized stocks on December 17th. So that's less than a week away, which is very interesting. It's not really a move that I saw coming, but it seems like Coinbase sees where the liquidity is and they want some of that money, because right now people are not really putting their money in long-term assets like Bitcoin and altcoins. So they want fast money, it appears like. So they announced a bunch of different updates to the Coinbase ecosystem, and this was one of them. What do you guys make of that?
Do you know Shane Copland?
Never heard of him.
Nope.
All right. So Shane Copland is 27 years old, and he nearly got arrested by the FBI. I say nearly. The FBI ran up in his house, kicked down his door a couple years ago and said, yo, you are top criminal right now. We need to take you in. We're going to arrest you. I'm confused. He's just like, why am I getting arrested? All I do is run the business. The business he runs is Polymarket. Shane Copland is now, well, he was in October, coined a really one of the youngest self-made billionaires. It's always you never really know who the youngest is, but this guy was 27 and has made a killing from Polymarket. So, cover of Forbes magazine, it's like 1 year ago they raised his house. So to go from getting raided by the FBI to now being coined a billionaire, you get a lot of attention. And the people you get the attention from are people that are in similar spaces to you, or they're thinking, how can we capitalize on what this guy has got going on? So I'm guessing Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, saw that and he's like, $1 billion, bro. Hey, we should go into prediction markets. And it wasn't just him, because Gemini just got their CFTC license to have their very own prediction market. So Gemini is also jumping in the space to compete with Polymarket. Yeah, bruv. At the end of the day, these men are just looking at, hey, this is working, I'm gonna copy it. And I didn't know Coinbase was this
Wait, so you think? Well, you think Coinbase is stealing Polymarket's idea? Because I think Polymarket's a great.
Well, prediction markets aren't a new idea, right? But
exactly, like it's one of the things. It's one of the only. It's one of the good use cases for with crypto. Is that it's not like
it's unique.
Oh, well, it's carpentry, and now they want to go to prediction.
The no KYC thing.
I mean, it's not.
Basically, do
it's distant cousin. Like you're probably a close nephew. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, continue.
Yeah. So it's a money maker. If you look at the on-chain activity, which I haven't, I'm sure Polymarket are raking it in and they're doing really well. So yeah, bro, they just want a piece of the pie. That's all I can see these guys are doing.
Yeah, it's I'm not surprised. I just thought they were a bit more, I don't know if cautious is a word, but like there's been a lot of things which have been trendy in the past that Coinbase haven't gotten into simply because they're highly regulated and they want to have good standing with the SEC and other bodies within the US. And also, I think there's a perception thing. Remember, they're a publicly traded company, so they have to be very mindful of how they move. So yeah, I'm not surprised. Predictions markets aren't really my thing. It's not something I would definitely. It's not something I would endorse. But as far as where the space is going, I see every major exchange probably having one. So if Coinbase is doing it, that means Binance is definitely going to do it. So expect that version maybe next week. But as far as, how that plays into, like for investors or for traders, I think it's just something else that's just going to extract more value out of altcoins and the rest of the market where development's actually happening. And, if the space wants fast money, then I see why, people are gravitating towards that. But long term, I don't really see it being something positive. So that's my take on it. But Coinbase also had other updates, and I really want to get into what, you think is behind this move. Coinbase to allow users to trade all Solana tokens through DEX without official listings. So, yeah, that's a huge move, and it seems like, they're coming after the Solana ecosystem as well.
It's a bit late, isn't it?
Is it?
Volumes are a lot lower than they were.
They are.
This kind of feels like really they're just clutching at straws. Do you know what's happening, bruv? They've seen a record year. Bitcoin has been going high after high after high for the year. And for the last 3 months, Bitcoin's been cooling off. So now the shareholders are like, bruv, what are you man doing about this? And then they're scrambling. They're like, oh, yeah, we can go after this. We can go after that. We can go after this. That's exactly what's happening, bro. And it kind of feels like they're just losing like a key focus on what they're actually trying to do. That's how it feels from the outside anyway, when you think about it.
No, definitely. But it's understandable why that's happened, because if you have a thesis saying, okay, we're going to work with institutions, we're going to work with retail, the only thing we do is, hard assets, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, other altcoins, good fundamentals, we'll vet them really hard. And then the market changes and it's like meme coins. It's like they're onboarding meme coins like there's no tomorrow, because that's where the volume was. So you can have your thesis, but if you hang on to your thesis when the market shifts, then you're going to die. And they're in the market to make money. But with that being said, actually, I want to add a follow-up question to that. Would you guys invest in Coinbase as a stock? As a step, yeah.
Nah, I'm already over leveraging crypto. Buying Coinbase stock is doing exactly the same as buying Bitcoin. It closely follows Bitcoin. There's no point in me buying Coinbase stock. If people are out there and they want exposure to crypto, and they don't want to buy Meta. They don't want to buy strategy because of the potential of strategy being liquidated at Bitcoin hitting 70-something thousand. Then yeah, bro, go out there and buy Tesla. Hey, this is not financial advice. I would go out there and get some Tesla, and I will go out there and get some Coinbase. But otherwise, if you can buy crypto directly, what's the point of buying Coinbase token, bro? Sorry, not Coinbase token. Coinbase shares.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Rick. Unless the opportunity is like you can't pass. Like, let's say a flash crash, but that never really happens in traditional market. But yeah, it's just no point. If you're very heavy in crypto, there's no point in investing in Coinbase, because they literally, at any time the balance sheet does well, it's because BTC is doing well. So just buy BTC. Or if you're afraid to lose your private keys, or you don't trust Coinbase, or wait, you don't trust Coinbase to hold your token, but you trust them to buy investor stocks. That makes no sense.
It's never financial advice. And with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next one.